Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to APSAC Online Support Program. I am Iman Noor from Army Public School and College, Fort Road, Rawalpindi. This tutorial is for week 3 in which we'll study unit 3. Today we'll read and understand a poem, Try Again, written by William Edward Hickson. After watching this tutorial, you'll be able to know the main idea of the poem, do the comprehension questions, locate synonyms in a thesaurus, and know about the concept of simile and alliteration. Okay, let's start. This is pre-reading activity. Before we start the poem, I want you all to take 5 minutes to think about the story Bruce and the Spider, where Bruce, the King of Scotland, learnt a very significant lesson from the spider. I have 2 questions from you now. What lesson did the king learn from the spider? Why is trying again important in life? Now, from the story, you know that after repeated defeats in the battles, both king's soldiers and the king himself lost hope of winning, and the king hid himself in a cave. The king saw the spider failing repeatedly, like 6 times altogether, in successfully weaving her web, since each time the thread fell short. She didn't lose hope, even with the 6th failure, and with still more care she started again for the 7th time. This time the thread was carried safely to the beam and fastened there. So the king learnt a very important thing from the spider, to never give up after repeated failures and keep on trying again and again until your task is done. The poem we'll read today contains the same idea of trying again with determination and steadfastness. Let's start with the poet's introduction. W.E. Hickson was a famous English writer. He is credited with popularizing the proverb, "'Tis a lesson you should heed. Try, try, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try, try, try again." This proverb can be traced back to the writings of Thomas Palmer in his teacher's manual. He was born under the Capricorn sign, and those born under this sign are known for determination, dominance, and perseverance. They are sure to always reach towards great achievement. So Hickson, being a determined person himself, rightly spreads the message of trying again to the readers. Let's read the poem now. "'Tis a lesson you should heed, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Then your courage should appear. For if you will persevere, you will conquer, never fear. Try again. Once or twice, though you should fail, if you would at last prevail, try again. If we strive, 'tis no disgrace, though we did not win the race. What should you do in that case? Try again. If you find your task is hard, try again. Time will bring you your reward. Try again. All that other folk can do, why with patience should not you? Only keep this rule in view, try again." Now students, let's discuss the poem stanza-wise. First, we'll discuss the meanings of all the difficult words. The word "tis" is basically a contraction of the words "it is" or "this is." The word "heed" means to give attention to something. Courage means strength to withstand danger, fear, or any sort of difficulty. Persevere means to continue our effort or struggle in a course of action, even in the face of difficulty. Conquer means to overcome and take control of something. Now, the poet says, "'Tis a lesson you should heed, try again." He means that trying again is a message that cannot be ignored. We must always pay attention to this message. If at first you don't succeed, try again. He says that if due to adverse circumstances or difficult or unfavorable circumstances, we fail in our effort or attempt, we should not feel discouraged or defamed. Rather, we should make better efforts to reach our goal. Then your courage should appear. For if you will persevere, you will conquer, never fear. Try again. Now, in these lines, he means that we must demonstrate that we have firmness to bear the loss. Then we should come forward with a new spirit. We should be steadfast in our efforts without any fear. If we do this, we will be succeeded. Thus, we should not neglect the lesson of trying again. So basically, in the first stanza, the poet is giving us a message that trying again is something very, very important in our lives. It happens so many times that in the phase of making an effort to reach our goal, we may fail twice, thrice, or even more times than this. But what should we do is not give up and come with a new strategy, new policy, and start making another effort, just like the spider in that story, Bruce and the Spider. So we should make another effort, we should come up with a new strategy and give it another chance. And what will happen that we will overcome all our fears and we'll definitely succeed in our lives. Now let's move on to the next stanza. Now let us first discuss the meanings of the difficult words. The word prevail means to be or continue in use or to be frequent. Second word is strive, and strive means to make great efforts to achieve or obtain something in life. Disgrace, it is loss of reputation or respect as the result of a dishonorable action. Now the poet says, once or twice though you should fail, if you would at last prevail, try again. Now he says that we may fail in our attempts or efforts for once or twice, but if we keep on struggling, we will finally win. If we strive, 'tis no disgrace. Though we did not win the race, what should you do in that case? Try again. He says that if we fail repeatedly, what we need to do is to keep on working hard and not to get disappointed and be persistent in striving. It's not a matter of shame to make repeated efforts after failure. Even though we have failed in our preceding efforts, we should not feel discouraged, defamed, or discredited. What we need to do in such a situation is to compose ourselves for another try, come up with a new and different strategy, and try again. Next, let's move on to the next stanza. Let's start the third stanza. If you find any word difficult here, the meanings of difficult words are given at the right side of the slide. Now the poet says, if you find your task is hard, try again. Task is any piece of work or job. If you find your task is hard, try again. Time will bring you your reward. Try again. Reward is anything that is given in recognition of service or any effort or achievement. All that other folk can do, why with patience should not you? Only keep this rule in view, try again. Now the poet says that if you cannot accomplish your task considering it difficult in one effort, make another one with a considerable force. And time will surely come when you will enjoy the sweet fruit of your hard work. What is required of you is to keep working hard. You must remember that if all other people can do their assigned tasks so well, you can also do yours. What you need to do is to be persistent in making efforts. This is a very important rule to remember, that you should never get disappointed and never lose patience. You just need to continue working till you succeed. So now there is a question from you. Why is the poet repeating the sentence try again? So think about it for a while. Now let's move on to the themes and poetic devices of the poem. The theme of the poem is a very important lesson we all should learn. It is that our whole life is a difficult journey marked with challenges and obstacles. We all need to learn perseverance and determination in accomplishing our goals and targets. No matter how many times we fail, without feeling dishonored or discouraged, we should keep on trying repeatedly until our aim is achieved. I hope the theme is clear to you. Now let's move on to the discussion of poetic devices. I hope you already have found out the poetic devices while you were reading the poem. Now let's discuss it all together. Now let's begin the discussion of poetic devices. In stanza 1, we have consonance and refrain. Consonance refers to repetitive sounds produced by consonants within a sentence or a phrase. In stanza 1, we have consonants in the first line, third, and eighth line. Let me read it for you. "'Tis a lesson you should heed. If at first you don't succeed, you will conquer, never fear." So there are the examples of consonants in the first stanza. Coming to refrain, in a poem, refrain is a line or a group of words that regularly repeat at the end of the stanza. And you can see that the words "try again" have been repeated in the first stanza, in second, fourth, and the last line. Coming to stanza 2, in the second line of the stanza, "if you would at last prevail," we have consonants. Then again, refrain is found in the third line and the last line of the stanza. Coming to stanza 3, first example of poetic device is of alliteration, and we know that alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of two words, two or more than two words. So you can see that in the third line, "time will bring you your reward," we have this alliteration. Then in another line of the stanza, we have another example of alliteration, which is "why with patience should not you." So you can see that "why with" is alliterative over here. Then again, refrain is also there. "Try again" has been repeated thrice. Another poetic device is personification, and personification is giving the living quality to any inanimate object. So "time will bring you your reward" is basically personification over here. Then comes another device, which is rhetoric question. A rhetoric question is basically asked not for the sake of receiving an answer, but it is just asked for emphasizing a certain point. So over here, this question, "why with patience should not you," does not require an answer from the reader, but it simply emphasizes that we should remain persistent, and with patience we should keep on working hard and making efforts to achieve our goal. Now students, I hope that you have found the poem very easy. It's a very simple poem, yet it contains a very meaningful lesson. After the understanding of the poem, I want you all to do these following tasks. Vocabulary, part A and B exercises have to be done on textbook. Reading comprehension, part A, which are questions, and you have to do them on loose sheets. You should know that questions from poems, they comprise of 2 marks each. So you have to be very precise while you write the answers. The word limit is 25 to 30 words, and you are supposed to write the answers in your own words. So before you begin your written work, please go through the poem again and try to understand the meaning of each and every word and the lesson which is given in the poem. Now you are about to do a number of exercises which are related to simile and alliteration. Now what a simile is. Whenever you need to compare two unlikely things, you can make use of a simile. It's basically comparison of two different things, and it is done by making use of the words like or as. You might have noticed that very often similes and metaphors are confused. So there is a very basic difference between these two. For using a simile, we require the words like or as. For example, "She is as innocent as an angel," or "He is as sweet as sugar." Whereas whenever we need to use a metaphor, no words like as or like are required, because in metaphor it's the direct comparison. The examples of metaphor are, "Life is a journey." So what we've done here is we've called life directly a journey. We are not saying that life is like a journey. We are saying that life is a journey. In the next example, "She was a rock star." So we have basically compared the girl with the rock star, but we do not mean the literal rock star over here. Due to her performance, due to her excellent performance, we have compared her to the rock star and we call her directly the rock star. Now let's move on to the exercise. Now students, you have to do part B, C and D on the textbook, and if you find any difficulty in doing part C, you can surf internet as help. Your next exercise is about alliteration. You already have the concept of alliteration, but for making it easy for you, let me share the definition with you and some examples as well. Alliteration is a figure of speech in which the same consonant sounds are repeated in a group of words. You can see the examples. Peter picked a peck of pickled pepper. Repetition of sounds, and it's basically repetition of sounds, not just letters. As you can see, crooks conspire with the kind king. Now over here, crooks and conspire begin with the alphabet C, whereas kind and king, they begin with the alphabet K, but you can see that they have the same sound K in them. So this is all about alliteration. I hope this will be helpful for you in doing the exercise. For doing your work accurately, there are some points to remember. Read the poem carefully with stress and intonation. Note the poetic devices and theme. Do the exercises after clarification of concepts. This was the first part of tutorial. Do watch the next part, which is about grammatical concepts. Thank you.